I built an Etsy shop to just under $1 million in 4 years. I had the same information you have right now, but what I didn't have was the order. I built things, I tore them down, and then I built them up again. And I spent the better part of 18 months redoing work I had already done. And that's what nobody hands you. There are thousands of videos about Etsy, and almost none of them tell you what to do first, which is the only part that actually decides how long this entire process really takes. So that's what today is, the whole roadmap, start to finish. 12 steps in the exact sequence I would use if I was opening a new Etsy shop tomorrow. Foundation, growth, scale, and eventually getting yourself out from under Etsy entirely. Every step on this list is only as valuable as the step underneath it. Great SEO on a product that nobody actually wants only gets you found faster by people that don't actually buy. A beautiful brand on a product that doesn't have anything for a repeat purchase gives you one sale and a goodbye. Paid ads on a listing that doesn't convert doesn't fix that listing. It just burns through your money faster. Most sellers aren't failing because they don't know enough. They're failing because they're doing step 9 before they've done step 1. The roadmap I'm about to share with you is exactly what I wish someone had shared with me in December of 2021. Let me show you what I mean, because order matters sounds like a small thing until it happens to you. You know that feeling when you're putting together a piece of IKEA furniture and you decide you don't need the instructions? You've got all the pieces laid out on the floor. You're competent. You can do this. Then you get to the last few steps and you realize that that back panel was supposed to be put in on step 3. And it can't go in now because you've screwed the frame around it completely shut. And so now you have to take it all apart again. Not because you did anything wrong, you did everything completely right. You just did them in an order that makes the next step impossible. That's what building a shop out of sequence feels like. It doesn't feel like failing. It feels like working really hard and getting somewhere right up until you hit the point where you have to unscrew everything and start over again. A lot of you already have a shop open. And as we go through these 12 steps, you're going to start to recognize some gaps. And that's good, but it's really hard to look at your own listings honestly. You've seen them so many times that you can't see them the way a buyer scrolling past them does. So I made you a free Etsy audit checklist. It walks you through your shop in the same way that I walk through a client's on a paid audit. It's free and the link's below. Okay, step 1, choose a customer, not a niche. A niche is a category. Dog stuff, wedding stuff, nurses. A customer is a person. She's getting married in 14 months. She's 28 years old. She's planning a bachelorette party with 6 friends. She's on Pinterest at 11 o'clock at night, working on a board she'll look at 40 more times. You cannot build a product line for a category, but you can build one for her because you know what she's doing next. Pick your customer now. Actually write it down. 4 things. Who is she? What moment is she in? What is she actually typing into the search bar? And this last one matters more than most people think it does. Can she actually afford what you want to sell her? Step 2, build a product line around her life. Here's where the real money is. And it's the step that took me the longest to understand. Don't build products around your product. Build them around her calendar. My shop started in the party space, and I could have stayed there. Birthday decor. That's a niche. That's fine. But instead, I followed her. I offered her her bachelorette party, and then her bridal shower, and then her wedding, and then her baby shower, and then her baby's first birthday decor. That's 5 or 6 years of a woman's life, and I was there for every single one of them. Same customer, same shop, no new customer acquisition. Step 3, branding. Branding is not your colors and your fonts. That's decoration. Branding is who you serve and what she feels when she lands on your shop. It's the reason she recognizes your listing in a sea of 40 others. And it's the reason she comes back for her baby shower after you did her bachelorette party. Think about why anyone pays $60 for a plain Nike t-shirt. The cotton is not better. A t-shirt can only be so good. It's the brand that's sold. Without a brand, you're a product. And a product competes on price and search position, which means you're permanently one cheaper competitor away from a bad month. Step 4, start your email list on day 1. Start collecting emails from your very first sale. Include a package insert for your physical products with a simple QR code they can scan, or a simple line on your thank you email for digital products. Start your list now. It costs you nothing, and it's the only asset you genuinely have here that's yours. Step 5, SEO is not the magic. SEO is how the right person finds the thing that you have already built for her. Your title should read as something that an actual human would type into the search bar, front-loaded with the words that matter the most. All 13 tags filled, no duplicates, no wasted slots. Attributes and categories completed because Etsy uses them to filter. SEO is what gets you found. Everything else is what gets you the sale. If you get that backwards, you'll spend months optimizing your SEO on a product that was never going to convert. Step 6, low ticket, high ticket, and bundles. You want some low ticket items because volume matters. Lots of small sales means lots of orders, and lots of orders is exactly what pushes you up in the Etsy search. Cheap items buy you visibility, but you can't live on them. So you add a high ticket item that will convert in the same shop. For me, that was print on demand wall tapestries. My largest wall tapestry sold for $120. My cost was only $45. That's a $75 profit per order. And then bundles. This is the easiest money on the entire list. If she's throwing a party, she doesn't just want an invitation. She wants an invitation and the signs and the games and the banners and the tapestry. Sell her the occasion, not just the product. Same customer, same traffic, 3 times the revenue. Step 7, find winning designs and test your mock-ups. 2 things here, and both are tests, not your opinion. For designs, watch what is already working. Trends usually show up on Pinterest first. So I take the promising ones into a research tool like Everbee and look for rising search volume and still relatively low competition. Then I check Etsy directly to see how many listings exist and how good they are. When I find a demand gap, that's where I go in. For your mockups, please test these. Fully optimize one listing and then duplicate it 3 or 4 times. And change only the main image. Same title, same tags, same price. Only one variable. List them all, wait a few weeks, and then let the data tell you the winner. Step 8, make variations of what's already working. Once you have a design style that works, stop creating from scratch. I found one design style that worked, and then I ran that design style over dozens of other items. New sellers think originality is the product. It isn't. The proven thing is the product, and your job is to give more of it to more people. Step 9, pricing and customer psychology. Price is not a number. It's a message, and your customer reads it. Price too low, and she assumes it's cheap. That sounds backwards until you remember that she's buying this item for her best friend's wedding, and nobody wants to hand over a bargain option at someone's wedding. A few things that reliably work. Set a free shipping offer slightly above what your average order value is. If most people spend $32 in your shop, offer free shipping for those who spend $40 or more, and watch how many people will add more items to their cart. Run real sales with real end dates instead of permanent discounts that nobody will believe. Build your bundle prices so it's obviously better than buying just a few individual pieces. And know your actual margin before you discount anything. Step 10, paid ads, but only after this. Here's my rule, and I really hope you take it seriously. Never put money into paid ads on a listing that hasn't proved that it will convert organically. Ads don't fix listings. They just deliver more people to the same problem faster and at a cost per click. So the sequence is this. The listing ranks, it gets organic traffic, it converts at a rate that you're happy with, then you turn on the ads to pour more traffic into something you know is already working. Step 11, scale what's working. At some point, you'll be busy and profitable and completely exhausted. And this is the step where you decide what happens next. I hit 50 to 100 orders, making every single one of those by hand, working 16 plus hours a day, 7 days a week. I had built myself a job. It was not sustainable. So I had to pivot. I had to choose if I was going to rent a warehouse and hire employees, or if I was going to switch my business entirely and go digital and print on demand. And I chose to go with the digital and print on demand. And when that took off, that's when it shifted from a job to a business I could scale. Because scaling isn't necessarily more sales, it's more money for the same amount of work. Step 12, own your traffic and your platform. Etsy's terms of service allows them to close any shop of any size at any time for any reason. That's not a rumor. That's what you agreed to when you signed up. So while things are good, build your email list, build your own website, and start growing traffic you control. Use Etsy as your launch pad, not the final destination. That's the roadmap. 12 steps in the exact order I would do them in. Go grab that free audit checklist. It'll tell you which one of these 12 steps your shop is currently missing. And I'll see you in the next one.